Welcome to the Dream 100 Show, the epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tesner.
Zero cognitive load. So you're probably thinking, just like I was, what in the world does that mean? So last week on the Dream 100 show, I started talking through the StoryBrand framework. And this was really all about just the initial, just to kind of get it in your mind that you have to make your customer the hero in the story and your business the guide. Your business the guide, not the hero. It's about your customer. So your customer, for example, is walking along, they encounter a problem, they fall into a ditch. You as the guide hand them a rope because you've encountered this before, help them to safety, and they have a better life on the other side. It's about the customer. And this concept of zero cognitive load is something that I've never heard before. And I read lots and lots of marketing stuff. I go to events multiple times a year. Like, I study this stuff, and I haven't came across this phrase. Zero cognitive load is all about you not having to think about what something is, what something does. So let me give you an example. Let's say that your sink upstairs in the bathroom is clogged. So you decide to go to Target and you go into the aisle that has all of the different potential solutions to this problem that you're encountering. And the American way, unfortunately, is that there are probably 30 different choices. You see Drano, you see quick acting, fast dissolving, rapid release, low pressure, best for plastic pipes, plumber recommended, 3-star award winner. You've got all these different options. But then your eyes start to fixate on one that doesn't have any of that, but it says dissolves hair. Which one of those do you think you or the potential customer is going to pick up? You're going to pick up the one that says dissolves hair. What does quick release, fast relief, plumber recommended, like what does any of that stuff mean? But dissolves hair has a zero cognitive load that you know exactly what it does, and it solves the problem that you are encountering. So what I've been realizing that, and it just started hitting me last week, and that's why I love getting out of my comfort zone. Like, it's so easy to I could sit in my ivory tower and just work. And some days I want to do just that. But as you know, I preach and practice being a lifelong learner by way of books, courses, podcasts, content, all of that stuff. Exactly as you're doing here. You're listening to this, you're learning something new, and hopefully taking it and putting it into practice. And that's what I did last week, and I'm officially StoryBrand certified as a certified StoryBrand guide, which is a lot of fun. But I didn't realize until last week that I've been overcomplicating everything in terms of how I describe what I do. So, Michael, what do you do? Well, I own a couple of digital marketing agencies and different niches. I run the Dream 100 company. I have an accounting business over here. I invest in I got real estate. Like, what in the heck? Like, that's not a zero cognitive load for any of that stuff. All of it has to be explained. So the core premise to a zero cognitive load is that it should not need to be explained. Now, that doesn't mean that on the back end, and when I say back end, I'm referring to supplemental content, more content on the website after the fact, that you can add some of the other benefits and some of the unique things about your business. But what I'm encouraging you today is to look at how you can get your core message to have a zero cognitive load. Example, and I'm going to just randomly pick a handful of industries, okay? I'll pick the one that I use almost every week, which is landscaper. So I thought that it would be good to really, there's, I wouldn't say thousands locally, but there's hundreds of landscapers locally. And in my mind, like, we've got to make sure that you're differentiating your business from the others. We got to have some of that top reviewed landscaper, for example. We only cut diagonally, same day guaranteed, and all that stuff could be useful on the back end. But if I were looking at the zero cognitive load, lawn mowing service, for example, weekly grass cutting, like literally just having something initially have a zero, well, what do? We do weekly lawn mowing. Tell me more. And then you can, we do some things that are really unique. Like we have I know there's a special, I wish I remember the brand. We worked with them. It's been many, many, many years. They have a lawnmower that's used for like PGA golf courses and stadiums that makes the lawn ridiculously amazing. So maybe you have that. So you can talk about that. But how would that have a zero cognitive load on the front end? That we're the only company in Western New York, Buffalo area that has XYZ mower that gives you a better cut. That does not have a zero cognitive load. It just doesn't. If you're a business coach, well, we're looking at how we can optimize all of your profit, maximize all of your profit. Like, how can you get it to where there's a zero cognitive load? What do? I guarantee growth, business advice, trusted counseling, like something that people aren't going to have to think about. Well, I'm an accountant. Okay, great. What do you? Well, we do taxes, payroll, compliance. We can talk to the IRS for you. So what do you do that's the zero cognitive load? Tax compliance. And then on the back end, you can have all that other stuff explained. Now, the other piece to this is a huge exercise that I need you to embark on the next few weeks. And when I say huge, it's not huge that it's going to take you hundreds of hours, but huge by way of this could be something that massively impacts your business. If you think about things at the core, why does somebody buy something from you? Why do they buy your product? Why do they buy your service? Let's use some examples that you're like, well, that I wouldn't think that would even make sense. Why would someone buy a Rolex? I'm not wearing one, by the way. Why would you buy that? It's not a necessity. You want to improve your status, typically. You want to maybe boost your ego a little bit. You want to use it as that symbol to maybe it will help you close more deals. They look at your role, well, this guy is a player or girl. We're buying things to solve problems. So maybe the problem that I have is that I feel like with my current, like I need a watch to help with my ego and help close more deals. Now, yes, you might say I'm buying it for a collection or whatever, but at the core, we're buying things to solve a problem. Why are you hiring an accountant? You have a problem that you can't do your own taxes. You need someone to do it. Lawn, maybe you can do your own lawn, but what is the problem? What's the actual problem? What are you trying to solve? You're trying to get more time back in your life. You're not solving the problem of, I could cut my own grass. You are solving their problem of time. You are giving them time back. And for me, not only am I getting time back, it's also something that I hate doing. Hate cutting the lawn. Waste hours and hours every week. Had a lawn service for I don't know how many years. But I wasn't solving the problem of I need to get my lawn cut. It's part of it. The bigger problem was I need to cut and I need to save that time and use it on stuff that's actually impactful. A lot of the listeners, you have businesses that you think people just buy things for the sake of buying them. One of our avid listeners has a business selling candles and facial products and things like that. So a little bit of mix of businesses, a little bit of everything. But even candles, what is the problem you're solving there? Maybe your house often doesn't smell great when you're making certain foods, so you light a candle, or you want a calming energy, and a candle helps do that. You have oily skin. You're buying this skin product to solve your problem. So I need you, though, to be at the level to where you know all of the different problems that your customers are facing. And you need to dig deeper. So great, the oily skin problem. You buy skincare products to solve that problem. Well, there's deeper rooted problems then. Probably self-confidence. Maybe they're unable to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe it's then leading into depression and anxiety because you have this oily skin. Like there's a lot more to it. And what many of our listeners of this show aren't realizing is that people will run so much faster away from pain than they will run to go to pleasure. So when you exacerbate the problem and then you cascade that problem, you make it bigger, you enhance it. So instead of just saying, we're solving the oily skin problem, I get it. Oily skin's a big problem. You probably have issues getting dates and you're lacking self-confidence, which maybe is causing other areas, and you don't want to show your face on Zoom calls or like all these different things. You're exacerbating it so that they're going to move quicker to run from that pain. They're going to buy your product, buy your service. How could you exacerbate landscaping? I get it. Like mowing your lawn's not a fun thing. And you don't want to be missing. What if you're missing out on some of that precious time with your family? You want to be sitting in the backyard enjoying your yard with the little time that you have during the week because you're working so hard to pay all these bills. And instead, you're now having to spend 3-4 hours on a weekend and you don't know what the weather's going to be like. So that might have been the only time you could have spent with your kids. And you're missing out on all those memories. So there's a lot of ways to exacerbate my time problem. So action step number 1 is that I need you to go in and really dig into the problems that your customers are facing so that you are crystal clear on what are you solving. My marketing agency, for example, we offer websites, we offer social media, content, paid traffic, but what's the actual problem? We are solving your growth problem. Growth guaranteed. That's the problem that I'm solving. The Dream 100, the same thing. Yeah, we're building your Dream 100 list and we're executing it for you. What's the problem you have? You do not have enough sales. You don't have predictable sales. We solve that problem. But I've realized that even I was over communicating. So your second homework assignment is to really dig into this zero cognitive load. Where are you using industry geek speak that no one understands? Where are you explaining things way too much that it just goes into all this detail that people are like, I don't even get it. So if you didn't know what the Dream 100 framework was, and I started saying, well, we deploy the Dream 100 framework for you, and that's about building one of the 3 Dream 100 audiences. We build up the 100 people, we vet them, we build a relationship, we start a podcast for you. You're like, but what's the problem? Like, what are you solving for me? And how does that problem then have a zero cognitive load? Have you ever had a challenge growing your business? Not having months that are consistent? Well, yeah, I have. We fixed that. Growth guaranteed. Leads guaranteed. Something very, very simple that you can, yeah, I get it. Makes sense. Tell me more. And then you can get in to the remainder of the content. Action step number 1, make sure that you are crystal clear on all the problems that you're solving in the marketplace for your customers. Number 2, look at how you can start to have some zero cognitive load statements so that everyone can explain what you do. It's on your website, business card, so they don't have to think. Michael Tazler signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'll see you next week.